All right, Carrot, let's talk about the player who whips the club early in the takeaway position and the misconceptions that go around that. So what that is when the player, if we were to measure an ideal takeaway position, we'll be talking about at club shaft level to the ground for the people here watching at home. And using this as our measurement point today in our topic area for this video. The player who whips it too much on the inside is a term we'll hear a lot. What that means is when the golf shaft orientation looks like this here. So if we were to use that as 12 o'clock, use that as 11 o'clock, you're in there hanging around about 2 o'clock, right? And yeah, there's some really big misconceptions around a lot of people who are trying to get a lot of body rotation early in the golf swing. Would you agree?
Yeah. Causes all sorts of sequencing issues a lot of the time because people are trying to come from the inside, right?
Yes.
They're like trying to get it in, so they'll set up to the ball and they're like, okay, let's start our backswing by doing this movement. But this causes a big follow-on effect of potential errors, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, when I like to talk about the golf swing, I like to separate into two separate entities, right? One being the arms and club structure and the other one being the body pivot. If we can build those two through individual drills, then we can start to build a really nice golf swing. Now, when you talk about coming from the inside, and I think a lot of smart people just think that I want that club to come more on a positive angle of attack like we've got here with our numbers, right? So a positive face to path number here, positive club path, and that golfer is trying so hard to come in, therefore having momentum issues as well coming out and over, and they're in a world of trouble. But I think what the golfers and what people need to understand and need to learn about is the turning rates of our body within the golf swing and when they happen. So if you go to club shaft level to the ground in the takeaway position for me here, right, to there, what we happen here, we have very minimal hip turn in this part of the golf swing from here. What we've mainly done is we've just tilted. That's given us the indication that we've actually got a little bit of rotation at that same point in time. But in fact, we've just tilted and we've just hinged our wrists here. So let's do that again for me there. Beautiful. So if you're the golfer who is feeling that this is coming too far inward here too early, that's what's happening. As that's coming in, that is going too early. So start again for me there. Good. So now I want you to go to the top of the backswing for me. So what we understand here, when you go to the top of the backswing, we're going to see roughly between 30 to 40 degrees of pelvis rotation, right? And we see 90 degrees of chest turn at this point in time. Now, what we see there is that's turning 3 to 1. Does that make sense to you? So go back down to the start position there for me. So there's absolutely not necessary at all to turn our hips. So if we kind of understand the role of this in our golf swing, go to left arm level to the ground, good to there. Then from here, what we're going to start to use, we're actually going to use that right hip as it turns to give us the hand depth. That's what we're asking for that right hip to do, right? We're not asking the right hip to take the club away for us in the takeaway position.
Yeah, and I feel like in the attempt of players trying to come from the inside, because we see a lot of players make this move because they might be slicers and over the toppers. They go, well, I just need to get everything coming more from the inside. But then all of a sudden, like you said earlier on, that can give you or compound the issue of coming over the top, because otherwise you'd miss the ball completely. Now, what you're saying here is that really the chest is the engine for the backswing, isn't it? And having, for those players who are trying to come from the inside, by focusing on the hips, it's kind of putting them out of a sequence, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So we need to understand, is this what's actually causing the club coming on the inside? Because one, it can be from, you know, maybe a bit of excessive forearm rotation, but a lot of time it is from that body just opening up too early. And we need to come up with some exercises to try and stop that golfer from doing that at that point in time. And it's interesting enough because it can actually feel quite restrictive and counterintuitive to what that golfer is doing, right? So what they're trying to get done in the golf swing. So for me, when you take the club away to club shaft level of the ground, what I want to try and feel for the person who's rolling it on the inside is we're going to start to feel that this orientation as butt of the club is looking more towards the trail thigh, that area there, as the club head is out. Now we're creating an exaggeration here because what feels normal to you is there. You got me? So we need to create a feel that I like to say is 200% more than what you currently do. So if you're doing X in this amount, you need to feel twice as much at that way to get the desired outcome. So that's your sense of feeling with the arms. I would be doing that only with the club to that position. So just going to there, and then I'd do a two-part swing. I'd start from there, and then start your backswing from there as you make your turn to top of the backswing. Feeling quite restrictive.
Straight away, after demonstrating the position where I was too far around, I can even see and feel the follow-on effect of how my shoulders are working, how my body is rotating and tilting to the top. So it is going to feel quite different from what you're used to, but the purpose of this drill early on, kind of presetting, let's say, this takeaway position, is just to bring awareness of how, if you were to film yourself, it might seem totally exaggerated, but then they put it on camera, they look and they're like, oh wow, I've always wanted my backswing to look like that at the top.
Yeah.
And even though it felt probably disgusting the first time they did it,
yes,
or like something that they completely shouldn't do,
yes,
counterintuitive, it gives them the appearance that they've been striving for, and it's probably eluded them for a while.
Yeah, and I think it's a fantastic one for the golfer, right, who, when you actually use the club head and the butt of the club orientation to help organize it and where you want it to even point. So yes, we want the organization of it to be more butt of the club in, club head out, and then we're going to turn to the top of the backswing. But for the golfer who has been excessively getting too far that right hip, turning too far this way here, rolling of the forearms, they're going to generally look kind of this way here with their look, right there. So the top of the backswing, the club head's going to look over to that wall. So how I like to organize that golfer is we're going to go A to here, feel like this, and then we're going to get that club head pointing at that side of the wall there. So the sense of feeling is going to be that position, come down, relax, come down, and then take a golf swing, and then you will find that happy medium.
Just exaggerating the opposite. Now, there's a great drill that you can utilize here to help map out this feel in the backswing. Essentially, just grip the golf club halfway down. You still have the same amount of sort of shaft lean and face angle that you would have if you were setting up to the ball. And just try and keep this golf club shaft on your body as you make that backswing. And as you get to that backswing, you'll see it's naturally going to feel up against your hip here that the head wants to stay out. Now from there, for you to move the golf club from address to the top due to the difference of the weight in the golf club, you're going to be far less likely to try and manipulate it and pull your hips around by feeling like the chest is the engine for the backswing, and then all of a sudden you just put your hands in their normal set position on the grip. That's also a great way to go about and achieve that feel.
Yeah, I like it. Anything that can kind of help you sync it up a little bit there. The golfer who is getting it too far, like we mentioned there, that getting open there, there's a sense of confusion around the roll between the arms and the body within the golf swing. Anything that can help you with sequencing with that, absolutely.
Okay, so let's do a couple of small little slow drill swings here, mate.
Yeah.
So focus points for me here as I take this golf club back. What should the players at home be thinking about?
Yeah, so for the golfer who is, whipping on the inside, we're going to take the takeaway position to here, is to feel like the hips aren't turning, we're going to try and keep flexion in that right knee. Because if that over rotates early, that right leg's going to snap and that's going to roll in and you're going to lose your tilts. So I like to just do that again. You just feel the butt of the club go in towards that right thigh, pause, relax, and then I go top of the backswing there. And you're going to most likely need the orientation of that club to feel like it's pointing at this corner of the screen over here, because that person who's rolled it in is going to be looking quite flat over there.
So quite exaggerated. So I'll chip one down there, just a little half speed there. I'm kind of aware of that flex in that back leg here. Club head feels way out. I'm going to try and get the club head pointing to the right side of the screen here.
Yeah.
That felt really good positionally wise through the swing. Actually felt like I was, let's say, more in sync as well. And I think a lot of that is because if the club head stays outside the hands for longer, it encourages your hands to stay in front of your chest, which, as we know at every high-level ball striker's impact position, the hands are back in front of the chest. It makes it a lot easier to do that. If the club is moving around our body, our hips are moving around, now all of a sudden, it's very easy to keep these hands too far behind in space.
Yeah, and I would agree completely. And for the person who's whipping on the inside, that person is probably most likely looking for a draw in their golf swing, getting away from the fade. And when you actually move in this way, like that, I'll see more draw bias golfers with that type of look at the top of the backswing than I do people who slice the ball. So if the person who is whipping on the inside is most likely looking for the draw, this is actually going to help them shift that ball flight as well.
Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you would benefit from watching this one next. So click that card and it could be the tip that you need to take your game to the next level. I'll see you next time.